Thanks, Ashish, for making time. And give us a small introduction about yourself, that what you're doing. And people say amazing things about you, that they have learned so many lessons from you. And so I'm sure that people will like to know what you exactly do.
I run a restaurant technology company. It's called POSist. I had my own restaurant, built this product for our restaurant initially, and I think given that we were restaurateurs who understood problems at the floor, we felt that we were the right guys to really address it and solve it. So it's a full-scale restaurant tech. We have a suite of 14 products, which form sort of a mini ERP for a restaurant, a single restaurant to a restaurant chain. We work with some 6,400 clients, India and abroad. So we have customers in 17 countries outside India. Within India, we are almost in 100 plus cities. And
So when you conceptualized it, are you from a tech background that you thought of entering into tech, or you were primarily into the restaurant and then started from?
No, I am from the tech background. So I did my engineering, although it hardly helps. But yeah, I did my computer engineering, and I used to run a telecom company before. So my restaurant investment was just an investment. It was basically, something which is, I don't know about you, but a lot of people, yeah, exactly, same, right? So everybody wants to open a restaurant someday. And I have never met anyone who actually got into the restaurant business knowing what it is. People always jump into it and then realize what happened, right? So I was always a techie. So when restaurant operation initially failed, and then we learned and we ran it well, but of course the techie in me reckoned, and I said, "Nahin, let's fix this problem from the tech."
And see, India is not known for the products as an ecosystem, which is the overall perception. For various reasons, I don't know what are the reasons, and we are known as the people economy, service industry, and etc. So when somebody is starting a product company, what are the learnings that you have, that the mindset has to be changed, or where do you start as a product company?
See, I think it's exactly what you just said, right? We are known as a service economy, or we are known as a services nation. It's not a coincidence, right? Because one of the major power we have so far, which we have demonstrated quite consistently to the world, is to produce people. And when there are tons of people available, you automatically become ready for the labor, because you are ready to put people at the problem, and hence it becomes really services. And also our role models are companies like Infosys, Satyam, Wipro, HCL, TCS, etc., who have done a fantastic job for the country. But because those are the role models, those are the ones which you see and idolize, it becomes really tough for people to differentiate between if not service, then what. That said, I think if in India you are trying to, it's fast changing, by the way. So there are tons of products which are coming out of India, but the basic mindset shift which requires to run a product company, especially out of India, where you grew up conditioned for services, is that you need to listen to the customers, but you really don't need to make everything what they ask for. Right? It's that Henry Ford statement that if you asked people what they wanted, they would have asked for faster horses. Absolutely. Right? So people, as a product, as a services company, things are easier, because you can literally take the dictation from a customer, deliver, charge for the man hours, and bill for the man hours. But when you are running a product company, you are supposed to listen to them, but you need to read between the lines. You need to really hear them on the problem. And then you are required to devise a solution, which is a product, which is not really a service, which is not really tailor-made to one person. And I think this is something which, if you're trying to build a product company, this is not really a one-time trick. This needs to be reinforced. This is my second lesson. The first is that you need to listen to the problem, but other is that you need to keep reinforcing this idea through the journey, because every time there's going to be a larger customer who you will hit, who was like a dream customer for you for that time, and they will come up with this plethora of requirements, and you will be like, oh, what do I do now? And you start becoming a services company masquerading around as a product. But so that's a little bit of a slippery slope. But if you keep reinforcing this over the journey, it's rewarding.
And like in service company, we hire a lot more people, and people come and people go. It has a different impact in the service company, but when it comes to product company, it makes a huge difference. So do you hire marketing people in your company?
Yes.
So what are the quality that you look at in marketing people or digital marketing people when you hire? Because of product company, it must be different, because you need to.
It's not only different, it's actually difficult. I mean, I don't know who all are going to watch the video, but whoever is watching, in case you are a marketer, please call me. Because B2B marketing and product marketing does not exist in India. And when I say that, I mean that the mindset does not exist. I still interview people from marketing who will, when I ask them that, hey, what will you do for us? They keep giving me B2C or ATL sort of ideas. They will keep, one guy recently told me, let's put a hoarding. I said, wow, what an idea. It never occurred to me. And so point is that when I basically, after of course, saying this, when I tried to make sense out of that conversation, and I asked him that, hey, I'm going to put a hoarding and it's going to be available for, let's say, 1 million people to see, but my customers might be, I may be looking for 100 out of them, and I don't even know if I caught those eyeballs. So why do I pay for 1 million eyeballs? What is the point? And the guy was absolutely clueless. I'm of course talking about a very, the extreme case, but what I'm trying to say is that product marketing does not exist in India at a concept level. It's going to be few cycles in which companies like us will produce that. A lot of product companies are going to produce such people in the next couple of years. So it's hard. So what we do right now, I think, is we get the fresh talent out and train them, because the process of making the existing ones unlearn and then learn, it's better to get somebody who's fresh, who does not need unlearning, can only learn. But it's hard.
Yeah. And so if you look back, you have had multiple entrepreneurial stints that you had. If you have to go back and change few things and do things differently, what are those things that you would like to do it differently, and how? Not how, but what are the things that you like to do differently?
That's a very broad question. I think there are various lessons for me when it comes to choosing the business, choosing the market, choosing the customers, choosing the team.
If I can make it a little easier, the most expensive learning that you had.
Again, very, very, very broad and very hard question to answer. But yeah, I think there are tons of learning. I think biggest learning, and I mean, by the way, when I say this as a learning, I don't really mean that there was any way I could have really implemented it 5 years or 6 years or 7 years back. I think most of these are blind spots. You just don't know that you don't know, right? So, but yeah, in hindsight, I can see a lot of stuff. For example, I do look at the merit of being in the right market or the right country. I'll give you an example. So for example, whenever I talk to any product company nowadays in India, I always ask them this question, and I don't know if I should say this or not. I don't think it's going to be politically correct, but let me just try. Okay, there is one region in India. Okay, let's do it like this. There's one region in India from where literally every product company I met so far, from anywhere else in India, there is this particular region they have a competition from, invariably. And when I ask them that, okay, is that competitor better than your product? I get the same answer, which is they copied the product, they sell for 1/10 the cost, right? I have also, and I'm talking about across categories. So I have similar competitors from that region who sell for free, right? Not even charging money, and nobody has any idea what's the business model. And I see a similar trend for products across domains. So one of the learnings is that I used to earlier think that, there is something wrong with these guys. But then we sent one of our sales guys in that region to sell, because Surprisingly, we had customers everywhere in India, but that region was also, not good for us. When I started sending our guys there, and our guys came back and said, you know what? In that region, nobody buys software. They buy hardware, and software is supposed to be free. So these companies who you are cursing and saying that these guys are spoiling the market, no, they aren't. They don't know any other way. For them also, software business occurs like that it has to be the cheapest, because you multiply, you code once, you sell forever. So one thing I realized is, and then I started looking within, that hey, because a company was born in that region, automatically was conditioned to think this way. Similarly, when we compare India to US, it's similar stuff. We are conditioned to think in a certain way. And when we look at American companies, you're like, whoa, how did he do that? No, he did not. This was his way of life, right? He understood it like that. Market occurred to him like that. For us, it is not occurring the same. So I think one big learning for me, from this, and which of course I keep implementing every day now, is that be in the country where you want to sell, be in the market where you want to sell. Don't use your conditioning of one market and imagine to sell in the other. That's one. And if you have that wisdom, then choose the biggest and the best, and it's not about the most paying market, it's also about the most sensitive market to the problem, right? So the same problem will have a different impact in Singapore versus a different impact in New York versus different impact in Calcutta and Delhi. Which one I choose is actually going to govern how I grow and how well I grow in future. That's one. Second is about people. Working with the best quality people comes with a price, and that price is not only their salary. The price also is that they keep you on your toes. Working with lower quality than yours is always easier, but it doesn't do any good to you. It doesn't add anything to you. And I think that is something which, again, once the wisdom hits you, you start changing. We have changed that a lot, and I'm continuously thriving every day, to do that. I want to, work with people who are 10x better than me every day. It's very hard to work with them. Huh? It's very confrontational, people who are alphas, and, they will not listen to you. You suddenly feel what's happening here. But I think once you get used to that, once you start understanding the value they're adding back to you, not only your company, it's phenomenal. So, absolutely. Yeah. So good markets, great people, I think.
Yeah. Just the second last question before we ask you the top 2 tips is that you are into products, and if say someone wants to learn about product marketing, that you said that there's no B2B marketing available. So what are the 4 or 5 areas that you think that they should learn? Is it like you want them to learn about account-based marketing, or do you want them to learn certain tools, or do you want them to have the mindset of a business? What are the things that they should be learning, and is there a portal where they can go and learn about it?
Again, I mean, it's a very, very broad question because what I will actually say is that look for the customer segment first. Again, it's not very easy. It's easier said than done, right? Nobody knows their segment, at least to start with. People who knew it have done really, really well in a very short time. And that's why people always say that entrepreneurs are at their best when they are probably at their third venture, right? Because from the first they learn, from the second they also earn, and from the third they can actually make something which they actually want. But that's actually a function of the exposure, because most of the times you don't know what you want to do, right? So my advice will be that one, learn from the right competitors, or choose your competitors right. They are actually going to tell you what to learn, right? So whether you want to do account-based marketing, which in which case I'm assuming that you will be doing mid-market to large enterprise. Are you doing a distribution strategy only? That means you must be looking at SMBs. Are you playing completely on price? That means you are trying to aim for an already well-established market by a very large competitor. Are you playing only on the quality of the product and the cost of the problem. That means you are hitting a very well established problem in the market, which might not already have a lot of competition, or has a lot of fragmented competition. Like multiple players are solving some bits and pieces, but nobody is looking at a holistic issue. And basis that, choose a competitor, and you can learn a lot, from them. You can learn a lot from their playbook. I don't know if that answers or not.
Yeah, that's good. The last question, since this is our second edition, so we're doing a series called 2 Years, 2 Tips. And it can be from any walk of life that you want to share. So the 2 powerful tips that you want to share with the rest of us.
One is, this is this cliched, gyan which says that, power of imagination, or don't stop yourself, don't limit yourself. But I think if I can say practically something about it, I can tell you about, for example, market exploration, right? So I feel that as entrepreneurs, we should try and experience as much as possible before even jumping to a conclusion or before even calculating the ROI. So my first tip is going to be invest in exploration. It can be absolutely wild exploration. It can be as much as wild as you landing in a country where you have no idea, how to really navigate it, or you don't know if your industry exists, how does it happen. But look at a conference, look at a trade show, look at an exhibition. Just land up there. Whether you want to start in that country, can you start in that country? Do you have funds to do that? That should not be a problem. You should always make space for serendipity to hit you, right? You need to make that space for luck to strike. So that's one. It opens your mind. And it opens your mind in more ways than you can imagine. So it's a blind spot. I see people, mostly, doing a lot of. There's a lot of paralysis of analysis before really looking at a country, and that really kills the opportunity. Second will be I think aim for the best competitor. So and by not really cutting down your price, don't think about playing the price game. Think about building quality. Think about building depth in your product or even services. And if you're doing so, aim for the moon. Then aim for the top competitor in your space. It can be a Microsoft. It can be an IBM. And by that, what I mean is not that you go and tell the customer, hey, I'm going to do this for peanuts, what you pay a bomb to IBM for. It should be mostly about, can you ask the same bomb from the customer because you can do it better than IBM. In that experience, you may or may not be able to beat IBM. But aim for the moon when you are choosing a competitor, because if you are in a rat race with all your competitors who are visible to you, the smaller ones, the local ones, the not so big ones, the ones you believe you can easily beat, it's like a rat race. Even if you win it, you'll remain a rat, right? So you don't get into that. It's if you believe that you want to really make it big, you live only once. You only get one chance, one shot at the market, and it's going to take the same time, right? So if I want to hit at IBM or Microsoft or some large company or Oracle or SAP, then to it is going to take 12 years. If I'm not hitting at them, then to it's going to take my 9 or 10. What is the point? What is the point of not living up? So point is that if you actually start taking a moonshot at all these competitors, whoever the biggest competitor in your space is, and you're not trying to play the price game, you're not the cheaper Indian alternative to that, but you are trying to say that, hey, I'll charge you the same bomb, but I'm going to solve the problem in a much better way for you. Even if you lose, you may not really make it in 9 of 10 contracts, but the learning which you get, which you will get just by fighting with them, is going to be worth gold.
Just the last question,
Please.
Because you're so knowledgeable and you have meditated on getting this realization about entrepreneurship, about various things. How do you keep yourself updated, and how do you get this realization?
Introspection. I think I think one thing which I can tell you definitely is that keep yourself immune to the noise of the competition again. As entrepreneurs, you are dealing with a lot of stuff thrown at you every day. There is an employee who is leaving, there is an employee who is not joining, there is a customer who is threatening to leave, there is a customer who is not coming on board, and then you have to make the product, you need to do a lot of stuff, right? And then you get overwhelmed by the competition which is in your head. You're like, oh, this guy's beating me. That guy doesn't even know you, right? He's doing his job, right? You believe that he's beating you. And then some other competitor gets funding, and there is this useless noise about your industry, about your competition, which really weighs you down, or you start reacting to it. I think for me, number one way to keep yourself calm is to, one, ignore all of that, because nobody's there to kill you. Everybody has their own struggle. They are trying to keep themselves afloat. You may get killed in the process, but technically they were not trying to kill you. Second is that when you get away from all these distractions and noise, you also get a chance to be more aware about your own company, about your own product, about what you believed versus what you acted on. And if you're continuously introspecting, you know everything. I mean, you are the best you have the best data points about your life, about your business at any given point in time. There is no external one who can actually help you with those data points. Second is that I engage with a lot of other entrepreneurs. I'm somebody who reaches out to a lot of people, brainstorm a lot. I'm somebody you'll actually find me 3 times in a day who will call somebody and ask them something, and I'll take their half an hour, 1 hour, and I'll beat my head with that, because again, same thing that I don't believe that the journey of entrepreneurship is lonely. You only make it lonely because you are insecure. You keep it to yourself. You don't want to tell people that you are vulnerable. It's okay. I mean, you can share it with people. You can tell them. You of course don't need to broadcast it, but you can create a tribe, who you can reach out to, and that helps you, because again, even the smartest people are struggling. And they're struggling with many things. So sometimes you get the solution for your problem. Other times you feel very good that even this guy is struggling. So it's fine. Mera theek chal raha.
Thank you so much for your time, and I'm sure that a lot of tips that you've shared helped a lot of people, and at least I learned so many things from this conversation. I wish we had
Thanks for inviting.
And I hope such kind of events will enable more people to share their knowledge.
Absolutely.
And let's make a better India and inspiring many more people to do what you have already done. Thank you so much for your time once again.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks
you.
a lot.
Yeah.